Channel SOC is the Grimm-hosted headquarters of the Codecrackers known as the Sons of Chaos. Grimm allows anyone to set up any kind of channel they want, so the SOC set up their very own safe haven on the network. Their top page features propaganda videos from the Codecracker team alongside a range of other content, information about the digital world, Digimon trading tools for sale, miscellaneous chat rooms, and more. They've even set up a sort of virtual reality lounge where members can communicate with one another as their avatars. The room isn't that large, though, and the graphics leave a lot to be desired compared to the latest online multiplayer games. It's edgy. The man, the myth, the legend, the hotshot rookie who took out the Digi-Police is here. The voice memo posts were coming in thick and fast, and in no time everyone in the SOC knew about the fresh-faced Codecracker who managed to take on the Digi-Police in the Wall Slum and win. The source of the story wasn't clear, but word got out despite Edgy's interviewer being the only one privy to it. I'm the star of my own show. Iggy himself was the source of the rumor, of course. The SOC were interfering with the digital world far too much and putting Digimon in danger in the process. That's why Professor Ryusenji tapped Edgy to get closer to Tartarus, the leader of the SOC, and find out why. So he set about making a name for himself as a hotshot Codecracker, a name that Tartarus wouldn't be able to ignore. Okay, so I didn't actually make up a name and accidentally use my real name. Details, am I right? It's fine. It's a common enough name anyhow. Iggy sat leaning against the wall of his loft, his eyes fixed on the virtual monitor before him inside his Digimon linker. The SOC lounge is designed in a cyberpunk style, reminiscent of a plant factory city with pipes. On it, he could see the SOC's virtual lounge in Grimm. It wasn't so much cyberpunk as a factory aesthetic, a city full of snaking pipes that recalled some sort of industrial plant. Lugamon sat beside Edgy's avatar. They weren't mind-linked. It was obvious that he was a Digimon, even with the graphical limitations. There'd be no mistaking his presence for that of a Digimon in the dock, a hololized image, or the stylized avatars of the lounge. This Edgy Codecracker is a popular guy, Lugamon said flatly. Which is all according to plan, Edgy said knowingly. They weren't careless. Lugamon and Edgy established a private chat to keep people in Grimm's open chat from hearing Lugamon's voice. How convenient that all these Codecrackers happen to think you're the hotshot Codecracker, Lugamon continued dryly. Well, I actually am, and one of a handful of top-class Codecrackers who can mind-link, Edgy retorted cockily. He was right that the hurdles to mind-linking were high. One needed a device capable of interfacing with the bleeding-edge Digimon docks being developed in AE's laboratory. They continued to take a casual stroll through the lounge. What are you doing, Lugamon? Edgy looked in time to see Lugamon, back leg lifted delicately into the air, peeing on a steel structure. Just marking my territory. You can't run around marking whatever you want, Edgy scolded. This is SOC's public space. So I should make the SOC my army of followers instead? Come on, pal, we're spies. We can't attract too much attention. Edgy felt justified in setting their chat to private mode. It was impossible to tell what was going to come out of this mutt's mouth. Pal? Really? Lugamon protested, cocking his head. Well, you didn't appreciate me treating you like a superior, and since we're partners, pal seemed like a safe choice. Lugamon didn't respond and simply lifted his nose in the air, the telltale sign that he picked up an interesting scent. Someone's running a search on me, he said quietly. He is being watched. Unlike Edgy, who was a person inside of a loft, Lugamon existed as bits inside an SOC-hosted channel on Grimm server. Should we be worried about that, Edgy asked. Well, I certainly don't like it. There, that's who's doing it. Lugamon growled, glaring at the avatar before them. A Digimon with large, cracked wings fluttered like a butterfly above an avatar rendered as a black man with dreadlocks. Airdramon, champion, mythical beast, vaccine. The Digimon looked like a dragon from Eastern mythology, snake-like, flying, and without arms or legs. I'm Marvin from the SOC. It's a pleasure to meet you, Codecracker Edgy. His tone was warm and friendly. The pleasure's all mine, Marvin. I've heard a lot about you. So you've read my messages, then? Sure have. This is my partner, Lugmon. Lugmon appeared to say something more to Marvin, but his chat was muted. Erjman let out a series of sharp cries. Your partner? Alright then, I see how it is. Marvin appeared rather impressed. So, to what do I owe the honor, Eji asked. Eji, according to my records, you applied to join the SOC channel just a couple days ago. That's right. Ever applied to join under a different name or belong to any other Codecracker teams? Nah, always been freelance. It is the truth. You sure about that? Are you always this suspicious of people? Eji's heart was pounding. Well, when I hear that a rookie who joined within the last 24 hours absolutely embarrassed the Digipolice, I tend to think that's either a lie or a story with way more to it. Marvin said through a smirk. Eji kept quiet. Perhaps Marvin was genuinely wary. Regardless, Eji now stood before one of the SOC's higher-ups that had to count for something. But Eji felt compelled to break the silence. I also don't think a codecracker capable of mind linking would go out of their way to do something stupid. Follow me and we'll finish this conversation. They walked further into the plant, passing steel supports and pipes spewing steam. Eji received an invite code from Marvin's room, which shared the same cyberpunk-ish aesthetic as the rest of the channel. This is my private room on the SOC server. Marvin's avatar said in a lieu of a formal welcome as he sat down on a chair, as he tried to tease out what kind of person Marvin might really be. Aside from a genius engineer, of course. So you're a pretty big deal in the SOC, as she offered? There's no such thing as a big deal among us. I've got some privileges on the channel, sure. The story I've heard is that you're the engineer that built Grimm. Is that true? I was one of the first core members on the project, but so were a lot of people. I just helped with a handful of lines of code, and suddenly I'm the self-proclaimed creator of Grimm according to everyone else. Grimm's cabal of dedicated codecrackers based on a number of different apps. So you made all the Digimon tools, is what you're saying, Eji was trying to connect all the dots. My main job is the creation and evaluation of those tools, yeah. If you want to put in an order, just say the word. First tool's free. Eji glanced over at Erjman. Its tail was tightly coiled around a catwalk above them. Lugmon was being led around the room by the nose. Something else entirely had caught the mutt's attention. Now, down to business. The SOC is planning something big, Eji, but we don't have the numbers to pull it off. Well, there it was, the big operation Professor Ryusenji mentioned. Don't have the numbers? Aren't there a ton of people in the SOC, Eji asked, feigning ignorance. Oh, we've got way more members than we need. What we don't have are enough top-flight codecrackers who can mind link and go toe-to-toe with the Digipolice. And then you showed up. I'm in. I'll do it, Eji said bluntly. Pretty quick answer. I'll just assume you know how dangerous the job is. Marvin took a breath. An uncomfortable silence hung in the air. All Eji could think about was his mission. Spy on the SOC and find out what they're up to. He didn't have the bandwidth to consider the operation's finer details. Dangerous, sure. Was it that dangerous? Look, you picked a fight with the Digipolice and won. I get it. Marvin was impressed by this kid, and he wasn't about to disrespect him. SOC hierarchy be damned. If they wanted a codecracker who could mind link, this was the level of codecracker they'd be dealing with in terms of mind link performance and influence. Was that bad? Eji was suddenly extremely worried about everything. You gave this Section 11 Commandramon unit the boot and incapacitated its deputy squad leader for good measure. That puts a gigantic target on your back. They'll lock you up and throw away the key if they catch you. Yeah. Digimon, by the letter of the law, were tools of law enforcement. They would probably argue that Eji destroyed police property and that would be hard to wriggle out of. I guess I did wreck their faces. Satsuki was pretty pissed, too. Because you don't miss. We wouldn't be having this conversation if you did know how to handle yourself, Marvin said admiringly. Still, Eji suspected they wouldn't be laughing if he told Marvin that Satsuki also knew his real name. So this thing, the big operation you're planning, is Tartarus involved? Eji was laser focused. You curious about our leader? Well, yeah. My interest in the SOC started with Tartarus, whose code-cracking skills are a stuff of legend. Right, Lugmon? Woof! Lugmon barked and took off, dashing from end of the factory floor to the next. Whatever Airdramon tossed with its tail, Lugmon was on a mission to fetch it. Is that a ball? Edgy asked distractedly, staring at the scene before him. Your Lugmon is one protective and well-trained pup, Marvin says. He got up and walked toward Lugmon. He's never really been around anyone but me, so... And he's a wolf, not a dog. Edgy's voice was filled with worry. Lugmon stared Marvin down, as if to say, take this ball from me, I dare you. Who's a good boy? Go get it! Marvin tossed a bit of data into the air, a bone-shaped treat. Woof! Lugmon barked and took off at full speed, eyes locked on the morsel. He sure does act like a dog for being a wolf. Hey, hang on a minute. He never does that kind of stuff for me, as she blurted out, suddenly green with envy. Tartarus seldom makes an appearance, Marvin said suddenly. Sorry? The higher-ups in the SOC don't know much about Tartarus either, but they've personally ordered us to carry out this operation. Marvin explained as he sent Edgy another invitation code. Operation Infinity, it read. Quite the name. That's the channel where we discuss plans. I'll share the files with you. It's happening tomorrow at... Marvin was being very careful not to let anything slip, revealing the time to Edgy and Edgy alone. You'll get the rest of the details once we're all assembled here. This was it. Edgy now knew the name of the operation, when it was going to happen, and that they would be meeting in Marvin's room. It goes without saying that you'll need to be mind-linked. I can get you money for anything else you might need. Great. I'll message you later then, as you chirped, desperate to take advantage of this stroke of luck. An organization the size of the SOC must make boatloads of money off their activities on Grimm. He imagined he could expense whatever he wanted, whether he had the receipts or not. Alright then, Marvin said. Catch you later. Actually, there's one more thing. Marvin let the words hang in the air, stopping Edgy and Lugmon in their tracks. You know anything about a black Agumon? Marvin asked pointedly. Nope, Edgy quipped. The silence persisted. He was desperate to fill it. I just know people are looking for one. Well, we're the ones offering the cash for it, the SOC. The 1 million DC reward? Edgy was floored. Marvin's avatar crossed its arms. It's pocket change for Tartarus, but finding the Agumon has become an obsession. Digimon Seekers, Chapter 2, Part 2.